You did a wonderful job with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. It was an amazing interview. We'll put it online if you missed it. And it's never easy to do. Listen, being a politician, toughest job in the world, as well as what you just had to
being
do.
Being the Prime Minister and the year he has had. And it looked like it was showing, too.
His energy level was very low.
His energy level was low, and physically, he looked thinner.
I think the thing, you know, I referenced when he was back in here, when we talked to him in December of last year, like you said, energy was a little bit higher. He had a majority at that point. There wasn't,
he was playful.
There weren't the gaffes that he had to answer to, which, you know, there are a number that happened over the year. And now it's a bit humbling to come in as a minority government and now say, how much can I actually do? And I have to answer to the Canadians now, across the board, coast to coast. And there were a lot of questions. And, you know, I'd say he provided some answers. Obviously, there are some political answers as well. But I'm glad he provided about 15 minutes to us. And that is more than we've seen in quite some time. And the first morning show to get him as well. And so hopefully we were able to answer some of your questions today. But it was definitely a different tone today.
And one thing a lot of people were asking about was Trump.
Yes.
And our relationship after the little microphone catching what he was saying, and he responded to that, though, right?
He did, and you know, he said right after that we signed the new NAFTA, right? So we sort of turned it around and said we still got the work done. He did say it was an interesting relationship. I mean, I think that's no surprise, but I think we all learn a hot mic is a mic that can always do.
And I think we actually have the clip from him. We're going to play it here.
Perfect.
As we do, as I've tried to do every situation with the president, is work constructively through it. And we were able just a few days later to sign the new NAFTA agreement, which is a really, really big thing. So we're going to keep working together despite things that happen in the relationship. I think we've been able to do that over the past couple of years by remaining focused on what's actually going to matter for Canadians and for Americans.
And we know, like, listen, President Trump has said disparaging things about him during the election. And he's like, oh, well.
Disparaging things about everybody.
Everybody. And then he's also said, listen, I do like him. And what did he call him back? What was his
He first said he was two-faced.
Right, two-faced. And he's like, did you see what I did? So all's fair in love and war in politics, right? And I guess you handle that as best as you can. He said, this is what happens in relationships, whether you see it or whether it's behind the scenes or meant to be behind the scenes and leaked. I think he handled that one as well as he could.
And a big one, too, is gun violence. We got a lot of questions when it comes to the banning of certain assault rifles, a full-out handgun ban. But more needs to be done. A lot of critics say that's not going to do it. That's sort of a Band-Aid solution. So he has the answer to that, or at least hopes to have the answer to that.
Bill Blair is someone who has worked to combat gun violence at all levels, for much of his career, and he knows, and we know, that part of it is investing in community centers and support for young people. Part of it is an anti-gang strategy. Part of it is strengthening the border so there's less illegal flow of guns. Part of it is strengthening gun control laws as well, including eliminating weapons that are designed to kill the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time, that is, military-style assault rifles.
Difficult task, that one, though.
Absolutely.
The handgun, stemming the flow of handguns coming in from the States. He's got his work cut out for him.
It's quite a bit. We did have to bring up, obviously, we saw the photos, blackface, brownface, that caused quite quite a disruption, or you know what, during the campaign. I would say that started it all.
They went around the world. That wasn't a little stir. That was a big stir.
Absolutely.
And on Twitter, it was a lot of talk, too. That's what they wanted you to ask.
They did. They did.
And you did. Here's how that played out.
We know that things like anti-black racism, systemic bias, systemic discrimination and unconscious bias are real things that require a lot more work, and that's why we're partnering with communities. We're going to be working hard to make sure that there is better awareness and understanding of the very real discrimination racialized Canadians face.
Because in that clip, I did also ask him if he thought that he had repaired his relationship with various communities. Because, does more work need to be done? He didn't speak necessarily from a personal level. He spoke that all of us, we need to do this. But I think he recognizes that in himself as well, that there were mistakes made.
I was going to say, you've interviewed him many times before. What did you see or notice? Because we noticed a difference in his energy levels. What did you notice?
That was exactly it, right off the bat. He knew there were going to be a lot of tough questions. He had to answer to a lot. And 2020, we need to move ahead. How are you going to do it? It was his tone, very different, but I'm glad we were able to do it.
Yeah, his voice was really low. He was very quiet. His whole demeanor was almost one of defeat a little bit.
He was humbled.
Yeah, humbled.
I think he's looking forward to a Christmas break.
I think so as well.
Yeah, the nation's keeping him accountable. So thank you so much for writing in, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.